Auditing profession in South Africa has recently come under scrutiny. KPMG members, you'll remember, found themselves embroiled in wrongdoing at Gupta-owned companies. Negligent accounting practices were at the center of one of the biggest collapses in South African business history. That's the Steinhoff scandal. According to accounting firm SKX Protivity, the practices can be avoided. Chartered accountant Raymond Mokgalagadi is the Chief Operations Officer at SKX. He's with me now in studio. Raymond, a very good afternoon to you. You are part of a group that believes you finally have managed to find something to bring the profession back from what has been a period of disgrace. How would it work?
Well, thank you. We find in this time in the company very, very exciting. What we are bringing to market is an addition and an improvement to what we are currently doing right now. And this is in response to basically what you've just spoken about. Businesses have become very complex, and there's a lot of automation in businesses. They've added processes to the business that they normally do. So what we have done, we have responded to the processes that we do, the work that we typically undertake for clients, by bringing to market a lot of automation. We are bringing deep analytics, robotic process automation to improve the work that we do. And the idea behind it, Tembekile, is that we need to focus on the more critical areas of the work that we typically undertake. And this helps us and the client to be able to focus on these high-risk areas so that our procedures and our processes can be tailor-made, and we can give better recommendations out of what we typically and ordinarily do. And
what are the high-risk areas at the moment?
Well, it varies from client to client. But generally speaking, the amount of data that we are typically faced with and ordinarily faced with now in the age that we are living in has forced this onto us and onto the client themselves. We go and we highlight and we identify these areas, and then we develop processes out of that. And what we find exciting as well is, one tool that I personally find very exciting is called process mining. What it typically does, it actually looks into the various processes of the client, and given all the sub-processes as well as the, how the client typically views their business, what we are giving to clients is to give them an identification of areas where there is glut, where there is a deviation from what they typically what they are expecting their businesses to be. And this obviously will lead in certain instances to a minimization of processes. Mm-hmm. People have to be maybe deployed in certain areas of the business, and we think this is a much more efficient way, a tool that will actually bring efficiencies into an organization.
You mentioned automation. Does that mean the loss of jobs?
Well, not necessarily. I'm saying, people can be retrained and be redeployed elsewhere in the business. But we, SKS Protivity, we are finding it very exciting. We recently had an event where we actually called in chief audit executives to hear more about this innovation that we are bringing to market, for their teams as well, to upskill and be able to do and add value to the combined assurance environment that we are a part of. Now, the other thing is, with this, the internal audit of the future will have to change. He's going to be a different person. And this means that the education, just backward into the education, mm-hmm. People have to be, the curriculums have to be changed to take into account all this automation that we are now talking about.
Beyond making the processes more efficient, at the heart of the scandals of the past has been a lack of ethics on the part of the people who are in charge of the various accounts and that sort of thing. How would a further development or introduction of technology help get around or to limit ethical violations?
Look, technology is part of the solution. The only thing that really, in my experience, that actually changes an organization is the tone from the top. If the leaders themselves are unethical, no matter how much technology you actually bring into the environment, it's not going to change. The tone from the top should be set, and you will have maybe recalled what the Auditor General has actually experienced at the municipalities. It is the same thing. If the tone from the municipal manager level going all the way down is incorrect, and all the things that are inappropriate are happening and are allowed to happen, you will have problems. Technology is just part of the solution to actually optimize, but it is not the be-all and end-all of it.
All right, Raymond Mokhalakadi, thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you.